All right, everyone. Round 10 is complete. This is the final Operation Dungeon Kings and Kaisers recap for this game. It is an Allied victory. So, despite the odds, the Allies have pulled off a victory, and also despite the dice at the very end, which were horrifically bad. I'll go over each theater and just sort of explain what happened. But this game did technically end in a victory point tie, and in the instance when that occurs, the total cumulative income of the Central Powers versus the cumulative income of Britain, France, and Italy. Whoever is the higher between that comparison is the victor. And in that instance, it was the Allies. Mainly because look at how big Italy is. Italy is at, where are they at right here? 23 on the tracker. So Italy was the X factor at the end, which is kind of funny. And this game did come down to the United States' last turn. That's what it came down to. So pretty much the last turn of the game. Not counting China, of course, because China, there was nothing left to do. It was completely dominated by the Republic of China. The Empire of China was off the map, so there was literally no point in doing China. But yeah, I'll just go over each theater. Let's cover the Pacific, as long as I'm over here. I was gearing up as the Allies to possibly hit China at the very end. The thinking was to take one of these minor cities, if possible. Now it may look like, oh, why didn't you do it with Japan? Because this I did not move Japan at all since the last turn. The reason I didn't is because the national objectives for a united China state that China will receive double the IPC amount in infantry per territory upon the attack. So, for instance, if I were to take all these Japanese units over here in C-Zone 53, swing around and hit Chahar here, Chahar is worth 2. China would then immediately receive 4 infantry there, and that goes for every single territory. So I was looking at that, and I didn't think it was going to be possible to take Chahar or Shanghai and hold it, because China would still get to go and possibly contest it, as well as if China is united, it can leave original Chinese territories and take those over, which means they could move possibly into Southeast Asia and Hong Kong. And the reason I didn't want that to happen is because the Allies, I'm using this marker, this UK marker from World War II, just barely has the Empire point at exactly 85. So I could not afford to lose even 1 IPC on the board. So that's where things left here. I was not able to make the move against China, so it is what it is. Going over here into the Russian Civil War, I stated in the recap video last round that I had to basically give up the fate of Russia point. So the Soviets marched in. It was pretty much a foregone conclusion. Fate of Russia has gone to the Central Powers. The Soviets have won. Like I mentioned, the National Protection War in China went to the Central Powers. The Pacific did at the very end. I forgot that New Zealand was still contested, so I had to still take that, and I did. So the Pacific was locked down for the Allies. Coming over here to Africa. Germany at the very end made a last-ditch hit on South Africa. It was not likely they were going to get it, and they didn't. Britain took away Belgian Congo at the end and Portuguese East Africa. I'm using this UK roundel here just because I ran out of the regular British roundels. So the Allies did end up with Africa. The Allies ended up with 4 minor cities in the Middle East here. I was not able to get Madrid at the end. I'll get to that later. There's a reason why. I did make an attack on Spain to try and get the minor city of Madrid, which is in there, to get 5 minor cities, but I was not able to do it. At the very end, Allies took Mesopotamia, Afghanistan to pad the empire point, took Constantinople, so the Ottomans were completely killed, except for the 2 guys they had left in Sudan. They were completely wiped off the map. So that secured the Mediterranean point because the Allies had 3 ports in the Med. It secured the victory city of Constantinople. They already had the Black Sea point, had the Middle East oil point, and I'm trying to remember if the Suez Canal point. I've had that for most of the game. So as you can see over here in the Balkans, the Austrians put up a very good defense at the very end. A lot of that has to do with just how many trucks Jonah built with the Austrians. I think he has, 8 8 trucks on the board. I've never seen that many trucks on the board for 1 power, so interesting. So he was able to get most of those forces out of Italy over to the Balkans within 2 rounds. So he put up a very good defense at the very end. I tried to crack it with the 8 American units I had in Constantinople. I tried to hit, where did I try to hit? Bucharest. I do have an infantry artillery left here. However, the rules state in the rule book that you have to have, at the very end, you need to have at least 5 units left in a contested territory for it to be considered sufficiently contested to affect a victory point. I could look up the wording. There's more eloquent wording that Moose Cow put in the rule book, but that's basically it. So basically, we wanted to prevent situations where, okay, someone just games it at the very end and decides to try and contest something and they have 1 unit left, but your opponent has like 30 units left. Realistically, that's kind of crappy if you were going to win that way. So at the very end, you have to have at least 5 units left. So I tried to hit this with 8 units. He rolled really well, and I only have 2 American units left. So I was trying to disrupt Bucharest, his other minor city, because he currently has 5 minor cities. I was trying to knock him down to 4, which would have taken a victory point away. So I was not able to do that. The American transports were able to pass through the Turkish Straits because I had taken Marmara with the British that round. Over in the Med here, he did build naval units over in Dalmatia at the very end to try and prevent me from probably hitting Dalmatia. I didn't want to hit it anyway because I already had the 3 ports, so there was no need. He did protect Venice. He protected the Balkans really well, so there was no chance I was going to be able to break the Balkans at the very end. Over here, let's go to the Western Front. This is where the big stuff happened. So, Germany took Burgundy and contested Picardy, took out Belgium, took Denmark back and Hanover, and really reinforced Belgium and the Netherlands very, very well. So I, as the Allies, had to decide how I was going to approach this. I had to take Picardy so that I can get one more of the favorable trade victory point territories. So that consists of Aquitaine, Brittany, Picardy, Belgium, Netherlands, Hanover, Denmark. So all of these, like the Atlantic Wall kind of territories from World War II. And I had to take Burgundy back as well in order to get that empire point. I had to do everything I could to get the empire point because I was behind this entire game with victory points. So I was playing catch up. So I was able to take Picardy back with the British. I was able to take Burgundy back with the French. And my goal, oh yeah, I forgot to mention too, with Germany, he built 8 cruisers with all his money basically here in Sea Zone 21. So I had to use the whole British fleet to try and knock out the German fleet and make a big landing. As you can see, there's 4 transports loaded with guys to Denmark. And if I were to take Denmark with the British, that would give me the favorable trade point. And then I would take, as you can see, all these American units, plus these American units. I had a lot of American units on transports and in Brittany that could have gone down here to Sea Zone 15 to hit Madrid. Had I had all those American units, I would have taken Madrid and gotten another victory point. And up here, I got really horribly diced, like some of the worst dice I've ever seen in my life. So I came in with 8 cruisers, 5 subs, and a dreadnought, and my 4 transports. Not a single mine hit me, which was amazing. And he had 8 cruisers, so I had more than enough to take him out. And the first roll with my 8 cruisers, 1 dreadnought, and 5 subs, I got 1 hit. And then he had his 8 cruisers and he got 5 out of 8 hits. So that was very devastating from the start. And then the second round, I also rolled really bad as well. And he rolled really good. So it came down to my sub versus his cruiser, and he won. So he was left with 1 German cruiser. This is actually technically dead. Which means then I had to come in with the Americans with their 3 cruisers and all their transports to take Denmark. And they did. Luckily, I took Denmark and I was able to get favorable trade at the end. But had I not done that, I would have lost the game by 1 point. But I should have won by 1 point because I should have been able to get down to Madrid. And I had the odds with Britain. I mean, I had more than enough odds to take out that German fleet and make a landing. So Just bad dice almost cost me the game, and the game came down to the U.S. taking Denmark, basically. So, really crazy. Really crazy. This game did not have really much action at all in South America. I decided to cover that. Some games you'll see Germany activate Chile, and there might be some fighting going on here a little bit, but nothing really. No Zimmerman telegram as well, purchased by the Germans for Mexico. But yeah, that's the game in a nutshell. It came down to America, and it was a catch-up game for the Allies the whole time. It ended in a tie, and the cumulative income between Britain, France, and Italy was higher than Germany, Austria, and, well, the Ottomans are not even on the board. So I think it was about 10 to 15 more IPCs. So let's do the quick math here. So Austria's at 40, Germany at 56. He would have had 96 as his cumulative income. Then the British, 64. The French, 31. So that's 65, 95. So that puts him one behind. And then you just add 23 on top. So 20, actually, no, it's more. It's 22 IPCs more. So it's a pretty decisive margin for the Allies in the tiebreaker. And as far as the victory points that were achieved by both sides, we have the Central Powers with Western Front, Russian Revolution, Fate of Russia, Balkans, the China Point, Empire, Belgrade, Verdun, 3 minor cities and 5 minor cities. So their minor cities that they controlled were Kiev, Warsaw, Bucharest, Ypres. What was the other one? Ooh, what am I forgetting? Oh yeah, Venice. Yeah. So those were their 5 minor cities. The Allies' minor cities I already covered. Were all in the Middle East here, and I was trying for Madrid at the end. As far as the Allies with their victory points, so the Central Powers ended with 10 victory points. The Allies also ended with 10 victory points, and they are favorable trade, Mediterranean, Suez Canal, Black Sea, Africa, Middle East oil, Pacific colonies, Empire, Constantinople, and 3 minor cities. And this is how the tracker looks. So, all right. So that was Operation Dungeon. Jonah did a great job. He's pretty relatively new to the game. Before this game, he had played 2 games. We had in-person games as a group. I know we're looking to possibly start another one against Moose Cow as the Central Powers. So we'll see how that goes. But he's pretty eager to get another game going. So am I. And me and Jonah are going to team up this time. So hopefully we can start that one soon and give you guys some more Kings and Kaisers action. All right, so stay tuned.